What? He shook his head. I never did that. I had always wondered why the noise stopped the second I was sharing my bed. Now I had the answer. Welcome back to another episode. I don't know what this is called yet, this series. Maybe like Stories with Matt or something. But due to popular demand, back here again, we got my sister, Extraordinaire.
Yay!
She's behind the camera and she's gonna join us in this mukbang episode. So let me introduce what we have in front of us today. Inari tuna corn, Inari Mentai Tobiko, Salmon Kani Mentai, and then we have this bowl here, Gyu Enoki Roll, so Gyu is like the beef, and then the Enoki rolls. Underneath is a bed of rice, and we have something special coming up later on, so stay tuned till like the middle or the end of the video, but we got something special, okay? Everything looks super good. They also provide soy sauce, and this is all from Charmentai. So Charmentai, the owners, her and her partner, they love Pokemon. That's why, obviously it's called Charmander, Charmentai. They use real Mentaiko, codroe, real one, okay? Because there's a lot of fake ones in the market these days. They don't use MSG, tomato sauce, or chili sauce to make the sauce red. The spicy, salty sourness comes from the fermented codroe. So this is premium, this is good stuff. And it's hard to find mentai in Jakarta that use real Mentaiko because there's a lot of people that just blend it together to make the price cheap. But this is the real deal, guys. Real deal. Are you excited to try it out?
I'm very excited. I have my chopsticks ready. You can hear my little chopstick skills.
Oh, it's gonna be super loud. But a lot of you guys have loved the previous episode, which is the ones with the little short scary stories. So that's what we're gonna do today, is the short scary stories again.
Yay!
And we're gonna react to the stories, see what it's like, and also the food. But first, take a bite. We're gonna try first. This one's Inari tuna corn. This is the Inari Mentai Tobiko.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna try the Tobiko.
I'll try Tobiko's too then. Okay, don't forget to use your soy sauce.
Yep.
Because it adds more flavor.
The umami.
Yeah. Okay. Umami. Whoa.
I didn't expect the Inari to be so good.
Whoa.
That's really good. Very whoa.
Very whoa.
Uh-huh.
Try this corn one. Yeah, the Inari is really good.
And I think good note is that the tuna isn't super fishy. So it's not like, so if anyone is like a bit scared if it's like too fishy, yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, agreed. They provide lemon inside, so I'm gonna squeeze a lemon. Whoa. Here, don't forget to grab some too, right? Okay, so this title is called Kids in the Dark. Growing up poor in the deep south meant sharing a lot with my little brother, Ollie. Most often, we'd pass toys, clothes, and skin conditions between us. Up until he was 6, we even shared a bed. Neither of us was happy about that. It was my 10th birthday when that changed. I got one present that year, and it was a bed of my own. Ollie was jealous right away, and I could understand why. He had kept that half broken down frame with the worn out mattress. The one I'd gotten wasn't much better, but not being broken and worn was enough. Sleeping apart was a great feeling. It was freedom. No longer would I have to suffer the sudden and inexplicable kicks to the stomach. No longer would I wake up with Ollie's foot pressed into my neck like he stepped on Dracula the night before. At least that's what I thought. Right away, right after I got the new bed, the shriek started.
Ew.
What? What? At first, I thought Ollie woke up in the middle of the night and screamed because he'd gotten scared. Then the sound echoed through the tiny room again, and I knew it wasn't a normal cry. He's like you.
Huh?
Like to cry in
the middle of
like
the
to
night.
cry in the middle of the night.
Not because of my new mattress though. So is he saying that his mattress is haunted?
No, he hasn't said anything.
Okay. Oh, and then the fact that when he said that his brother Ollie steps his neck.
Step on his neck?
Yeah, step on his neck. That means he would have been 180.
Yeah, so he do a little backflip and step on the
Backflip.
neck.
Yeah.
Yep. The room was always black as pitch after sunset. The one window we had was pressed against a long leaf pine, and even the biggest, brightest moon cast no light inside. The shriek just about drove me crazy. Every night, probably at the same time, these sharp yelps would knock me right out of my dreams. It wasn't my mom or dad yelling either. I knew what it sounded like, believe me. Most worrying of all was the fact that I could never tell where it was coming from. It seemed completely random.
I know where where it's from.
Where, the tree?
No, it's from the mattress.
Wow. Yo, you think it's the mattress?
Yeah, I think that in the end of the story, he's gonna like, maybe there's like a body inside the mattress. Whoa. But can I say, where did the parents find the mattress? That's what I'm curious.
I guess they didn't say. It was just a new mattress, you know?
But it's not new mattress.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, because he said it's a bit worn, but it's not as bad as the old one.
Yeah, he said that he got a bed of his own, but yeah, it didn't say it was new. He said that it was not broken and it was just worn.
Yeah.
Ooh, good one. Good notice.
Yeah. Key things to note there. It's not new.
One night, it'd come from somewhere near the closet. The next, it'll shoot out from the corner of the ceiling. Any hope I'd had of having my own space would get dashed away every time Ollie would silently slip into bed with me, shaking like crazy. He'd clasp onto me and wouldn't let go until it was almost daybreak. Most times, I'd take his hand and tell him everything was going to be okay, that it'll be over by morning, but I was never really sure. Over time, the shriek started changing. At first, it was only by small degrees, but eventually, it took on the primal hooting sound of a primate calling out its fierce warning. I had to clasp pillows to my ears just to keep me from going deaf. I think this is salmon. It's a lot of salmon. Yeah, it's not imitation crab. It's salmon. This one's imitation crab. I think that one is salmon.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay, here I'll continue. Mom and Dad never believed me or Ollie, basically because the thing, whatever it was, refused to make a peep when they were in the room. Apparently, they couldn't even hear it through the walls, even though it was damn sure loud enough. The shriek just got worse and worse until I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. Me and Ollie were doing really bad in school, and we just had no energy at all. I could sleep more deeply with my head propped up and eyes open in the middle of class than in my own room at night. Then, thankfully, we moved out of the house nearly a year later. I had contemplated all sorts of things, even a child's clumsy concept of suicide, to get away from the horrific nightly noise. Yeah, there was no problem at the next house. It was a nice white cookie cutter home on a dead-end street, and I welcomed the normalcy. What's more, when we moved in there was a bunk bed waiting for me and Ollie. No more broken bed, no more second bed. I ended up having to share anyway. The only problem was deciding who'd get the top bunk. I told Ollie I deserved it. After all, I had gotten a new bed way back, and he ruined it by climbing in every night. What? He shook his head. I never did that. I had always wondered why the noise stopped the second I was sharing my bed. Now I had the answer.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, good twist, huh?
Good twist.
Good twist.
So it's Ollie then. Ollie's the ghost.
Oh.
But that's kind of weird then.
Why?
Because if they're still sharing the same room, wouldn't he see, like if he saw Ollie beside him and then he saw another Ollie in the bed next to him?
But they weren't sharing the same... Oh, they were sharing the same
room.
Yeah, but just different bed,
different
right?
bed, yeah. Or maybe they just couldn't see each other. I was imagining the bed to be side by side, same room, side by side. And then if I can see Ollie beside me and Ollie sleeping on his bed.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about different rooms or anything like that. I think it's because the room was so dark. Remember, he mentioned the room was so dark that he couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
So he couldn't see who was getting into bed. I guess it was that dark. Should have put up a night light, you know?
Yeah. Very good twist in the end.
Good twist.
Very.
I did not expect that. You thought it was a haunted mattress.
Ollie and the writer would share beds and nothing happened.
Yeah.
But once they were separated, it happened. So who do you think the ghost is attached to?
The bed. Because he's like, there's someone sleeping in my bed. And it would just bounce around the room, right? Because it was yelling in the corner, yelling somewhere else. So he was just like, no. And then when he got into bed with the person, then it's fine again.
Okay. Or maybe the ghost is mad because now he has to share a bed with...
That's probably why.
With the writer.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Wow. Okay, this one's called a ONEIROPHAGE. In the late 40s of the last century, after a decade of private research involving experiments with binaural beat brainwave frequencies, extrasensory cognition, and rare extracts of a South American vine. There's just some research with like brain waves and then the way people think and extracts, right? So like vine, South American, like this vine, I guess they squeeze out the extract. And then testing it out, Dr. Thomas Rosner perfected a technique whereby one could actually intrude into the psyche and see another's thoughts. So despite having exhaustively documented his rigorous work, he could find no institution that would offer to review it. Forced to sell his invention, he found by word of mouth among those through whom he procured narcotics a prospective buyer. Okay, so basically he sold his invention to someone who usually plays around with drugs, I guess.
Okay.
So apparently it's a New York family called Mr. John M. Dunn, a voyeuristic connoisseur in the supernatural and obscene. Okay, so family in New York who's into supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
He sold his invention to them. And this guy, John M. Dunn, apparently, when he was young, he was hanging around libraries of Paris, those catacombs of departed authors. Yeah, so he would hang around apparently in catacombs and for the authors, rummaging among their hordes of dusty and obsolete work. A literal ghoul who disturbed with profane fingers the charnel houses of decayed philosophy. Man, that's such a tough statement. He readily agreed to the doctor's asking price without haggling, delighted at the prospect of exploring such a bizarre novelty. So there's this researcher who is creating this potion essentially that's able for other people to read into other people's minds because nobody wants to, take a closer look at the research of this potion. He then sold it to some drug guy or a guy who likes to, look at drugs and test drugs because he's really into the supernatural world. Okay, so next. Once adept at the operation of the apparatus, Dunn paid Dr. Rosner off an unassumed name, rented a shabby house within view of Sing Sing prison. In the timeless night, when the convicts fitfully slept with the aid of a stolen set of blueprints and his new mind-reading device, he raided their memories cell by cell at liberty to savor the forbidden thrill of theft, molestations, moonlit homicide in secret without remorse or consequence. So basically, he bought this potion or this kind of thing and he rented out this old house within the reach of the prison.
Yeah.
So what he would do is when these prisoners were asleep, I guess he would go there secretly with his blueprints, right? So he was able to go inside the prison and then he would use this potion to be able to read their minds and he would live through the thrills of like the people, killing people, the people doing crime.
Yeah.
So he lived through these thrills, right?
Yeah.
With this potion. So within a month, prisoners told each other about the nightmares they all began to discover. And apparently all these nightmares were the same. The first was a bunch of alligators and tortoises filed through a swamp crowded with faceless people and shrieking orchids. So it's just a bunch of alligators and turtles going through a swamp with a bunch of faceless people. And then next, a shadow man at which they looked directly into but could never quite see and would watch them in stillness from an empty house where invisible hands probed behind their eyes and they had to stand naked and legs locked in place, unable to run away. Their compared descriptions of the house were identical, including its location just outside the walls. By mutual agreement, it was planned that the first of them to receive parole or be released would search this house to find out if it really existed and investigate the source of their troubling dreams. Okay? You kind of understand, right, so far?
Yeah, I do understand.
Okay. A few days after being freed, their chosen spy was able to inform them with a smuggled message in code that not only was the house real, but he had broken into it at night and found a gaunt, mustached man in a silk smoking jacket seated bolt upright, head thrust back, both eyes gaping, mouth stuck open in a stiffened gasp, clenched hands gripping the arms of his chair in front of a scientific machine. A handwritten journal on the desk told the whole story of his adventures, prying unconstrained through the psyches. So, right, there's a journal of him going through the prisoners' heads, plundering the haunted memories of criminal after criminal, seeking ever more shameful and audacious experiences, until finally he wrote on July 7th of his overwhelming desire to witness telepathically the next execution in the prison's notorious electric chair.
Whoa.
So I guess he fried his own brain.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one?
It reminds me of one of the Black Mirror
Episodes of the doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor living.
He doesn't want to save his patients till the end because he wanted to feel the pain.
Yeah.
He was like enjoying the pain.
Yeah.
It does remind me
and
of that.
And it's so creepy. I cannot imagine.
Doesn't stop me from enjoying this though. Just want to say though, this is Gyu, what do you call that? Gyu Enoki Bomb.com. The star of the show. Oh man.
Look at the overflowing ikura.
There's 360 view. Oh man. Okay, so continuation, right? So we gotta cut a slice.
Oh, is there something inside?
I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, there is. There is something inside. Okay, I'm gonna take this. This is. Oh man.
No.
Okay, bite of the donut Mentai.
I think there's like salmon in there.
Wow, that's so good that they made it. They put filling inside.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna cut the side with actual. What do you call this?
The salmon steak. Salmon.
Yeah, the salmon on it. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the mentai bowl that we ate, but like donut form.
Right. Yeah, it's impressive. I think you can get it as a cake with that.
Look at that slice.
Oh, it's a pretty slice. Especially when you get the extra salmon.
Oh yeah. And it's so colorful with the flowers, the decorative flowers.
Yeah, did it really nicely.
Elevates it, makes it look very.
They also give you wasabi.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll read the next one. Last story, because this one's a long video. Okay, wait. The title is It Started as a Leak. The rainy season began in early summer, and June had no exception. It did not surprise the man when he discovered rainwater dripping from his dining room ceiling. Shrugging it off, he placed a tall pot beneath the leak and expected to stop on its own. So like Indo, there's always leaks, right, in Indo.
Yeah.
However, it continued to rain, and before he knew it, the pot would threaten to overflow.
What?
He had to dump water out the first thing in the morning, and straight after he returned home from work. Eventually, he began to notice water damage at the source of the leak. The white ceiling had discolored, turning a dull shade of brown. He checked the weather and realized that it would continue to rain over the next 10 days. The man was worried about the ceiling mildewing and becoming an expensive repair, so he called a local handyman.
Can I just say that
What?
I'm imagining the bucket threatening him with a knife and like, you better take me out.
Your imagination is wild.
It's like, you better take me out or else I will overflow.
Unfortunately, the man could not sign to have the repairs done. Only his landlord could. It was a frustrating policy. The man called his landlord but could not reach him. He left a few voicemails detailing how the damage was becoming progressively worse. The man was clueless as to why his landlord would not return his calls. They usually kept in touch, speaking at least twice a month. Finally, he reasoned that he would not be held accountable for any damages sustained.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
One night, the man was startled awake by a massive thump. He quickly turned on his bedside lamp, and just vaguely, he could see an overturned table and a large shape laying across it. He sprinted out of his apartment and called the police, gagging at the smell.
Ew. Ew.
The man sat in the police station with a blanket wrapped around his shoulder and a coffee mug resting in his hands. He did know one thing. There had been a dead body in his ceiling.
Ew.
And the water had saturated it so badly that it caved under the weight. So far, the body was unidentifiable due to the rainwater and was being autopsied, right?
Yeah.
While the man waited, he called his landlord and finally reached him. Panicking as he explained the situation, his landlord was just as alarmed, and the man pleaded for him to come to the police station while he made his statement. The man paused as a detective crossed over to him, and he lowered his phone, wondering if the body had been identified. His blood ran immediately cold, and he shook his head with terror. The body belonged to Richard Thompson, his landlord, and he had died over a year ago. That's not what had disturbed him most. If his landlord was dead, then who was pretending to be him?
Oh, I got the goosies.
You got the goosies?
I
This
got
one
the
gave you the goosies? Woohoo! This one gave the goosies. We eat the centerpiece.
Whoa.
A little flour on it. Centerpiece. Dip it in a little bit of soy sauce.
Whoa. Do you think the killer is the landlord? Do you think the killer's faking the landlord? Wait, is that the end of the story?
Mm-hmm.
How did he get in the floor? Oh. Do you think the landlord was living above him?
Yeah, probably.
And then, so the killer just stuffed him underneath the floor boards, and then because of the rain, it caved in under his. But then, if it's a year ago, that means he hasn't seen his landlord for a year.
But he said that he has been. He's been seeing his landlord often.
I thought he said
twice
that,
a month.
I thought he said that he had, keep in touch, right?
Like he said that he would, they kept in touch, speaking at least twice a month.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe they never met.
Yeah.
But it's kind of impossible if he lives upstairs.
Why?
Because
You mean you wouldn't have run into each other? They would have?
Yeah, they wouldn't have run into each other, and then I don't see why, especially during when it was leaking and everything. Why didn't he just go up to his landlord's?
Or maybe the landlord wasn't living above him?
Oh, it just suddenly appeared underneath? Oh, maybe the killer is above him.
Maybe, but it doesn't make sense because it's raining, right?
Yeah.
So if there's someone who lives above you, how can the rainwater come in?
Maybe it's a leak from upstairs. Maybe it's like a leak that continued from upstairs, or I think it's possible. I think in the...
Yeah, because it didn't say that he was underneath the roof, but it made it seem that he was underneath a roof, but I guess it just means that there was someone above him. I just don't know why he would be like, oh, it's gonna rain, so it's like, I need to quickly fix this if it's gonna rain, because if someone's above you, you wouldn't really care if it's raining. Oh, it's a leak, but it's probably a leek from above, so I need to fix it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's on the roof.
Doesn't have anything to do with the rain.
So maybe he lives underneath the roof, of his,
whatever
apartment or
building.
somewhere, or even a house or a building, and then the landlord was dead on the roof or something. Yeah, it's creepy because I think it's possible, it's not such a far off idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have to say about it? This one gave you the goosies.
Yep, gave me the goosies.
So it's approved.
Approved.
But guys, hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the stories as much as you enjoyed maybe seeing the food being eaten. I hope you guys are hungry, and
if you got the goosies, comment #I got the goosies.
Yeah. Don't forget to comment. I got the goosies. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.